Hey all, Perry here from Perry and Nancy's Patriot Victory Garden, also group member of RAM. Some really fine patriots on that group. And I want to show these people who want to kind of, be a little more self-sufficient and stretch their dollars on food. U.S. Department of Agriculture did announce a few weeks ago, food will increase by ends year at least 5%. So with that in mind, for us on a limited budget, we do a lot of canning and stuff when we have our garden going. Most of the stuff you see here did come from the garden, with the exclusion we did buy our onions this year. Okay, the carrots that we have in the garden right now are not fully developed. Peas came from the garden. Everything else has come from the garden. What we're making today is the chicken stew that I really like to eat. Notice here we are taking a half gallon of chicken that we canned last year. We're going to be using that for our chicken. Here we also take the broth and we can that. So you can add that to soups or anything, there's a good additive. So what we're going to start with today, because the chicken is already cooked, broth's already cooked, we're going to start with the ingredients that we need to just put in the stew itself. We got some garlic here, some parsley, I got some fresh thyme, and fresh basil, sweet basil. Kind of chop that a little bit. We have some scallions and some leeks here. Some of our own celery. I just picked all this stuff this morning. I like a big chunk stews. If you've seen some of my videos before. And I don't measure much of anything. So with that, just kind of watch what I do, I guess. I've never been much for recipes unless it's in for something like baking or something that you got to be a little more on key with. I go mostly by taste and experience from cooking most of my life in restaurants, for myself, for the family, that kind of thing, and canning. Being more self-sufficient helps a lot. It saves you money. And in these times, we don't know what's happening a lot in our own country. Food shortages is going to be a biggie. I don't know what a lot of people are learning to do now. Seems like a lot more people are interested in becoming a little more self-sufficient. They are growing more of their own foods. You know what's going to be in this soup. There's no surprises on additives and everything else. We also save all of our little parts and pieces for two things. One, you can make a soup stock out of it and then strain it. Or we like to feed a lot of that stuff to our chickens. It helps augment the food costs on them. Okay, so we're going to add this to the soup pot. And go the onions, celery, garlic, and scallions. I did have a couple inches of water in there because I will be adding the bouillon to it, so I've got enough liquid in there. The way things are, I'm going to add some peas to it. Pretty simple stuff, basics. Just makes all that a good stew. Use most of those carrots up. And because right now we can't grow corn as cheap as we can buy it. So remember to watch for sales and things like that. And remember to, if you can, always buy in bulk. We'll buy every fall. They'll have case sales. This is just Western family corn, but they'll have case sales every fall. And you can pick those up. We buy cases of all kinds of stuff. We'll buy cases of tomato sauce, tuna if you're not close to a coastal area and the prices are right. You gotta be a little wise on what you're spending your money on. Okay, chicken, like I said, I'll put in last. Okay, so start with some whole basil, rubber chicken.
I'm trying to get it.
I'm going to put 5-6 good chunks of bay leaf in there. Some sweet basil. This is from our garden, from our herbs. A little bit of Italian seasoning. It's kind of more of an Italian chicken vegetable stew. It's just a little more flavor. Although we have onion in there and we have garlic, I like to give it a little shot of actual garlic powder that also helps to permeate into the liquid. Gives you a good liquid juice base. So that was garlic and a little onion powder. A little bit of chicken base. Now this is a 12-quart stew pot. You got basic broth in there, but I'm going to enhance a little bit because I'll be adding more water to the overall stew. I'm not going to add any salt at this time. I'm going to add some black pepper. Last, we need to cook off our potatoes. These are Yukon Golds and some little red potatoes that we grew out in our garden here this year. I'm going to add those. I like lots of potatoes in my stew. My wife over here is commenting. She's almost as smart aleck as I am at times. Okay. Just mix that all through. Get all the goodies mixed up. Now, traditionally you'd also have your raw chicken cut up or deboned and put in there and added to it. In this case, like I say, we're going to use our last year's chicken that we canned up in our half-gallon jars. This is how, remember, you're cooking in bulk, so go by taste. What do you like in your stews and stuff? What you have available? Be imaginative. I also do one with, like I do with my beef, a tomato-based one. Work with it, whatever you got available, okay? Next section we're going to show will be canning our chicken stew. Nancy and Sherilyn will be doing that later on today. So tonight we got to have
Chicken
pot pie with the real pie dough. We're going to steal a little of this when it gets all done. Near the end you'll want to probably add my choice is I will use either flour or a what am I talking about here?
The roux?
For a roux, correct. But what is the other thing?
Cornstarch.
Cornstarch. I'm sorry, I'm having a vapor lock in my brain. Cornstarch. I prefer cornstarch because it gives you more of clarity in your soup instead of a flour-based roux. Okay? Anyway, we'll catch you back here in a little while and we'll show you how to can this. Okay? Till then, watch some of our other videos on how to can all kinds of home food and stretch your dollar.
Hello, this is Nancy from Patriot Garden. Here we are doing the chicken stew that Perry made earlier. And right now we've already got 5 in the canner. Just gonna load up these last 2. See chunks of potatoes and carrots everything else that's good. And some of them are a little bit big, so of course you have to squish them through.
Big chunks too.
Big chunk. You like, you know, that's why you have something to bite into. And
Yukon Golds and red potatoes are really good like this.
yes. And then we got pea pods. He added a few pea pods too. From what earlier.
Those big oriental flat ones.
And of course, leave that 1/2 inch head space. That might help if I put the funnel over too. I got quite a bit, so I'll be able to probably do another load in the canner. And then, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna have a pot pie. I've already made the pie dough. It's sitting there in the fridge right now. Hello. Hot.
Oh yeah.
And all that. Juices and chunks and good enough. Alright. And of course, wipe it off with a paper towel. Keep it in there so it gets all over. Whoop. Kick the dog.
Bully.
If he wasn't right underfoot, sorry.
Right.
Not our dog. Zzz.
Like it's the canner's already started. We'll stick these in, put the lid on, and it will be time to.
Now those also go.
These are going to go for 90 minutes at 10 pounds pressure, like with any meat product.
We also have some more.
We got some couple of jars of leftover pork, barbecue pork roast. What am I doing? Can't put that on yet. So that's it for now. It's going to process for 90 minutes. Because of the pork, we're just going to do it for the same time. Even though the chicken was pre-cooked before, we're just going to be safe than sorry. So that's all for now. Bye.